I have a whole stack of wonderful books about the stars here, and I wanted to share them with you in case you want to get them and use them. So the first one is called The Sky is Full of Stars. It's by Franklin Branley, and it's illustrated by Felicia Bond. And this is a obviously a nonfiction book, which is beautiful in that it's very simple. Has some really engaging illustrations of kids writing out, looking at the stars. So it's just really inviting. And it has some important facts about the fact that the stars move over the course of a night. So here you see in the evening when the lights are still on, here's the star over here in the east. And there, when the lights are all off, the star has moved over to the west. So that's just such a nice image to show that idea. And then also the notion that the stars are different in the summer and the winter. And here are some simple constellations. So it introduces the idea of constellations that were seen long ago by people who wore togas. And yeah, the Big Dipper, and that one is pretty easy to see and points to the North Star. So this is kind of a great one to start with. So anyway, and at the end, it has a great, more constellations. It has a great little hands-on activity that you can do that I've made another video showing how you can make a can that becomes a constellation projector. So love this one. Now here's another guide to constellations. This is by the author of the Curious George books, who is a constellation fanatic. This one is just a wealth of information. I think I'm going to keep this one around for a while and read it and try to learn all the constellations. This one is also cute and has a cute little drawings to make it engaging. This one is definitely for grown-ups. Oh my God, look at that table of contents. And the type is so tiny. But you could learn stuff in here that you could teach your kids. And here's a beginner of just like getting used to looking at stars and then in your imagination connecting the dots and filling them in to see this random collection of stars becomes, oh, there it is. It's the Big Dipper. And here's the Big Bear, drawn in a different orientation than in the other book. But scientists are always changing their minds. Gotta get used to that. There's Orion. And in addition to introducing you to many constellations, then, oh my goodness, look at this. There are just some giant sky views, just the stars alone, and then connected in constellations. I think H.A. Rey is really committed to teaching you to recognize all the stars. So this one just has a wealth of information. Yay, yay for H.A. Rey. Then, here's a pair of books that are just beautiful, that show different constellations, but they're illustrated in a delicious way, which those other two books aren't so much. And it tells the stories of the constellations. So this one, Once Upon a Starry Night, by Jacqueline Mitten. Illustrations by Christina Ballett. This one, so here's a full view of the northern and southern sky with the constellations that we're going to find in the book. And these are all myths. Gods and goddesses, both Greek and Roman. And look at those. I love how they've used gold and silver foil to make the stars sparkle. So these are just beautiful and can kind of make you fall in love with the idea of finding the constellations. I'm not sure that they really like help you recognize them, because to turn those stars into that woman, I don't know. not entirely convincing. I think H.A. Ray's book does a better job of like helping you actually learn them. But this one is just so beautiful and inspiring. And it tells the stories. What is the story of Cassiopeia? Read on. Here's Andromeda, poor thing, etc. So this one is full of, ooh, there's Hercules. This one is full of myths. And then at the end, it tells the stories just straight up. And then again here, it shows you where to find them in the sky. What a great resource. And its sibling book is Animals by the same pair of author and illustrator, and this one is all animals. Similarly beautiful. Yeah, I'm not going to show you the pictures. You can just imagine, right? And this one, Follow the Drinking Gourd. Look, there's the Big Dipper. And here are slaves escaping from the south. They're heading to Canada. And Follow the Drinking Gourd, I bet you can guess, if you don't already know the story, you know, the Big Dipper, if you draw a line from this star to this star in the Big Dipper, in the scoop part of the Dipper, it points to the North Star. So that's how you can always find your way north. And this book tells the story of, well, here, a note about the story kind of summarizes this story for grown-ups. And then here, the story is told for kids in a picture book about an old white sailor who would get himself hired out on plantations, and he would teach a song to the slaves that was called Follow the Drinking Gourd, and hidden in the song were directions on how to escape and find their way north. And then he would leave clues along the way. He'd leave marks on trees and things, so the slaves could find their way. And always following the North Star. So here's a picture of a family who've learned his song, and it's springtime, and in his song he says that it's good to start in the spring. It's a safer time to travel. So here this family is realizing it's time to leave, and they're going to follow the drinking gourd, and they follow it all the way north. So if you would like to find a way to bring meaning to the idea of using the stars to navigate, this is a great book for that. It's also really heartbreaking, of course. And so I would certainly think about, if you were going to bring this to children, think about how to do so in a way that takes care of their feelings in such an upsetting story about our history and our identity as a nation, and the way we've treated, the way the whites have treated the slaves. So take care with this one, but it is a beautiful book and commemoration of some very courageous people who helped slaves escape and slaves who escaped themselves. All right, enjoy those books.